Welcome back to ENTC 2160 Architectural CAD. During our last video, we talked about creating exterior walls, and we also talked about how important it is to make sure that your walls are drawing in certain directions. As we mentioned in the last video, when you're constructing a floor plan, and you're starting out with creating walls, you want to make sure that you travel in the same direction when you're creating the wall. For an example, if I look at this wall here, I started at this corner, and then I went to this corner, and I came around until the starting point and the ending point met. That's extremely important, because what we talked about is that if you don't do it that way, what you would learn is, looking at this particular one here, this example using brick walls, if you don't go into the same direction, you are unable to clean up these corners where walls actually come together. So how do you know what direction you created the walls after the fact? If you want to find out, you simply just select the walls, and you can see the arrows here. Whatever direction the arrow is pointing, that indicates the direction that you drew the wall. So in this case, I started here, came here, then I came down, but as you can see, this arrow is pointing back at where I am. Therefore, that's in the wrong direction. And if it's in the wrong direction, you're unable to clean up. So what I can simply do is select this wall, select the arrow, change the direction, and then it cleans up. So again, that's a review from what we did last time. This particular time, what we're going to do is talk about putting in interior walls once you have your exterior walls in place. To speed up things, I've already pre-drawn some exterior walls here so that you can look at this. And what we want to do is put an interior wall in here. So if I want to create an interior wall, I'm going to just basically come in and select wall. And then what I want to do is pretend as though I'm going to start here. Well, now I'm pretending now I'm going to start here. So if I select this as though I'm going to create a wall going in this direction, I just hit the left mouse button right in the center. And now I'm pointing in that direction, and I'm going to right click. Once you right click your mouse button, you have options here. You have offset. You select offset, and you determine how far you want the wall to come over. If you want the wall to come over 3 feet, or if you want the wall to come over 4 feet, you can set that number. In one of the earlier videos, we talked about input. You can actually input data where you see the blue numbers here. If you want to come over 3 feet, you can say, well, you want to put in -3 feet. And you need to make sure you use the right tick mark. So if you use the double tick mark, that's inches. You use the single tick mark, that's feet. So you want to use the feet symbol, and then you can hit enter. So what you can see here is that we're putting in an interior wall right now that's 3 feet from that right wall that we're putting there. Remember, that little green box that's showing up in the corner here, that's your endpoints, or like a little snapping corner right there. If I were to select enter right now and try to put this vertical wall in place, that wall would actually not be vertical. It would try to end over here. So what we want to do is get rid of that little green box now, because I don't need my snapping point to be in that corner. So if I hit my function key F3, that goes away. Just F3 on the keyboard, and then I can select that and then hit escape, and now I have created an interior wall that is 3 feet, and this is from center to center. I've now created an interior wall that's 3 feet to the left of this right side wall right here. Now, kind of as a rule of thumb, I typically will say exterior walls, especially when you're doing basic walls, that exterior walls are 6 inches thick and interior walls are 4 inches thick. But I haven't changed these yet. So I wanted to make a point, and that is, what if you forget to change it and you don't set this to 4 inches and it just shows up as 6 inches? Do you delete it and go back and start over? Of course not. What you can do is select this wall here And you remember all those different tools we talked about in the earlier video? If I were to right click right now and I get a listing of all of these options here, you want to find properties. Your properties dialog box will open up. And whatever object you've selected, all of the properties of that object will be right here, as you can see. So if I scroll down, all of this information that you see in this dialog box here, it applies to this wall that I have selected. So if I wanted to change the width of that wall from 6 inches to 4 inches, I select property, I find my width, and then I go in where you see the 6 inches, I type in 4 inches, remembering to now use my double tick marks opposed to the single tick marks. So I want to select 4, double tick marks, hit enter, and you can see how that wall changed its thickness. So now I have created an interior wall. Remember, as I did when I first started, the interior walls here, when I did this interior wall and I offset it to the left, remember, AutoCAD will accept negative numbers as well. So just like I've selected a negative number to get this wall to the left of this wall right here, if I wanted to select a wall below here that's going below something, AutoCAD will read that as a negative number as well. So thank you for joining in and learning how to create interior walls into your floor plan. And I hope you have a lot of fun as you begin to create a lot of your interior walls as our drawings become more complicated as we advance. So again, thank you for joining ENTC 2160.